Niles TV. We're here with Bill Fallon, the county manager, and we're so excited to have you today. This is the month of October, and we're going to be talking to the fire chief. So tell us about that.
Yeah, October is Fire Safety and Prevention Month, so I'm not going to steal too much of Chief Vinny DiCristofalo's thunder, but he'll talk all about that. But every year they do all kinds of stuff, so it's really a lot of notice that goes out to the public. You know, it's time to change your batteries. It's time to test all your alarms. You know, obviously there's just a ton of stuff that they do. In fact, they were out at First Friday in October as well to kind of celebrate Fire Prevention Month. So it's a big month for the fire department, and you'll hear more from Chief DiCristofalo.
Great. Well, we're excited to have him, and we do have a hurricane event. Do you want to touch on that really quick? We got through the last hurricane, and I think this one's going to go right by us. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll start with Helene, and so that one was pretty significant here as far as impact went. And as everybody saw, really the biggest impact that we saw was wind, which resulted in trees coming down. Because I think, as everybody probably is aware now, this year has been the worst year for rainfall since it's been recorded in the late 1800s, I believe, on St. Simons, and in fact, the second worst year since 1964 in Brunswick. And so the rainfall total is well over 50 or 55 inches for the year, but we've just seen a ton of rainfall this summer leading into the fall. So the ground was saturated, so we knew that trees were going to go down. We knew that the winds were going to be high, so Public Works, both the city and the county, as well as Georgia Power, they were out there cutting down trees and trying to, you know, thin out what we thought was going to be some of the hot spots for trees potentially coming down onto power lines. Just didn't, you know, we just weren't able to get to every one of them. So obviously we saw a lot of power outages based on the wind event that we had with the trees coming down.
Right. Yeah, we're so lucky compared to North Carolina and other places that were even west of us were hit harder and without power longer and all of that. So
yeah, it was really it was impactful not only in Georgia, but we saw it up obviously all the way up South Carolina, North Carolina, and other areas. But for here, we thought that Georgia Power did a tremendous job. So they had some significant challenges. So they actually had transmission lines that led to the substations here within Glynn County that were down. So they actually had to start at that level, which is a lot different than starting at the line to the house level. And so just the massive amount of damage that they have. In fact, Georgia Power called this the worst, the most devastating storm in their history. So that tells you how bad Georgia Power had it throughout the state, and certainly here. But they did a great job. We had partnered with them. We partnered with the city. We've mentioned it before. We know how to operate during storms. We know how to plan for storms. You know, we just can't predict what the devastation is going to be. We can try and do our best, which we did, which is we knew it was going to be a wind event. We knew we'd have power outages. And Georgia Power had people stationed here ready to go. Now, fast forward to Milton, which is coming in, and obviously it's going to be a very impactful in the Tampa Bay area. It was a Cat 5. It's slowed down a little bit. It's going to potentially pick up a little bit more steam when it makes landfall, and we're hoping it stays south of us. We're still going to see some impacts here. We're anticipating we're going to see some wind again, and the wind could be at that tropical storm force level, which would probably knock down some more trees. So again, Public Works, both city and county, as well as Georgia Power, have been out there taking down some of those trees. In fact, Georgia Power has a 50-foot crane that they brought into town to take down some of those trees that are leaning that they know would go over at the next storm. So they're doing everything they can to prepare for this one. We might see some storm surge here as well, so we have to watch the tide. We'll have to watch the causeway to see the floods. And then we're going to see some more rain. So rain is actually, we're going to see some flooding probably in some of those areas that are prone to flooding. So trying to prepare as best we can. But I think as a community, we do it better than anybody. We're all together. We're all at the table. We're all in here over the weekend, you know, getting prepared for it. We're going to be here throughout the storm. We're going to operate during the storm, and then we're going to recover as best we can. So we're just hopeful that the damage from Milton isn't going to impact us as much as some of the previous storms that were similar to this, one being Irma and one being potentially Nicole. But right now we got our fingers crossed, but right now it's looking like it's going to stay pretty well south of us, which won't be good for our friends in down in Florida.
Yes, it's been a busy hurricane season for sure, but Glenn County is prepared and certainly teaming up, Team Glenn, to get ready and for whatever the storm brings. So thank you for that update, and I know that's on everybody's mind right now. So we thank you for that, and we look forward to the fire chief. Anything else you want to talk about before we get?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, we got a lot of stuff going on. So actually on Tuesday, October 15th, we do have a SPLOST open house. So we had one just before the storm over on St. Simon's Island. So this one's actually going to be at the library downtown. So that's going to be at 6 p.m. on October 15th. On October 16th, we have an event that we did last year. It's with the local high schools. So both Glenn Academy and in Brunswick, and I believe some of the other schools as well participate in this. So there's high school kids that come to both the city. They spend a half a day at the city, and then they spend a half a day over here at the county, and they just kind of go through all the departments. They get assigned to a department head, and it's just like a full immersion day for the high school kids to see exactly what it's like to work in government service. And in fact, we also, in the spirit of storms, we're actually going to have them go through a mock exercise where they have to actually do what we do and plan for a storm and then operate through it. So that should be pretty exciting, I think.
Wow, what a great time to do that. This is real. They're learning real time stuff. Yeah, that's exciting.
And then a couple other things. We do an annual trunk or treat, out at the Public Safety Complex. That's going to be on October 24th. And that's a fantastic event. If you haven't been to it in the past, everybody takes part. City, county, our federal partners from FLETC come over. It's all public safety offices. It's a lot of people. We had a lot of kids last year, and I was able to participate as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. So that's a event that we always look forward to. And then a couple other things that we have kind of on the horizon. Georgia, Florida is going to be Friday, November 1st. So we are preparing for that as well, public safety wise. And so we'll be prepared as best we can for that day. And hopefully it goes well like it has the last couple of years. We do have a SPLOST QER. So you're familiar with the quarterly execution reviews that I've talked about in the past. And so that actually is going to be on November 6th. That's 1:00 in the afternoon. So we're going to talk all things SPLOST. We'll have it recorded. It's open to the public. So a lot of good updates that we have on all our projects, some of which have been completed, some that are underway, and some that we're planning here in the near future. And so that's what's coming up. So we have a lot going on, obviously, this month outside the storms.
Yes, it's a busy time. Let's jump back to Georgia, Florida just for a second. Because we have people that enjoy that weekend, and some of the comments have gotten better and better each year. They were saying that I think last year it was so great to have stations set up. Like I think there was a medical station and waters that they were handing out, and people were actually there helping, not like, do you know what I'm saying? So they felt really great about that. And that was something they noticed and talked about.
Yeah, it really has. Every year we get better at it. We do have some private groups that come in, some faith-based groups that come in, and
right.
They make sandwiches for the kids. They hand out water, but also the hospital steps up big. So we actually have a medical tent. So the tent is there for kids that get dehydrated or other things, and so we're able to handle some of those things right there that day, that morning, or during the day. So last couple. Georgia, Florida Fridays have been pretty much uneventful, but so we're going to do our best to make sure that we can maintain that, keep the kids safe, keep everybody safe, and just make sure everybody's able to have a decent time, but controlled as much as we can. So that's kind of where we are. But you're right. There's a lot of different. It's across the board. There's all the agencies here work it, but then we also, like I said, we get our partners to work it as well.
Yeah, that was great. I know the county does their part, but yes, to have the extra partners is good news. So, anything else before we?
Yeah, I'll just introduce. I think what we're going to have is the two speakers that you're going to have from Glynn County, in addition to me this month, are going to be Chief DeCristofalo and then also Chairman Neal. So I think Chairman Neal has been with us throughout the storms. I think that's probably what he's going to talk about, is some of the his point of view as far as how we manage the storms, prepare for them. But You'll like Chief Vinny. So Chief Vinny D. Cristofalo is coming on. He's been in this job for probably about 2 years, a little over 2 years, as our fire chief. Has done a fantastic job. He's a great leader. He leads from the front. All the firefighters in the emergency service, all the paramedics and EMTs, they all look up to him. He's really doing great as far as recruiting goes, keeping the fire department staffed, and just everything across the board, which he'll talk about. But he's a great addition to Glynn County, and we're lucky to have him.
Yes, we're so excited. I love his name. That's let's start there. And then it sounds like he's got a big personality and a great leader. So we're looking forward to that.
Okay. So again, thanks for having us on. And next up will be Chief Vinny.
Great. All right. See you later.
Thanks.
Now stay tuned for Commissioner Clark coming up next. Welcome back to Good News Glynn. I'm here with Chairman Wayne Neal of the Glynn County Board of Commissioners, and we're so glad to have you today.
Well, it's good to be here, Avery. It's always a pleasure to get to come in and speak to you for a few minutes.
Yes, I'm so glad. And there's a lot to talk about today. Tell us about hopefully any good news you have.
Well, we'd like to talk about the good news, but I think we better talk about the bad news first. We're preparing for Hurricane Milton, and it is hurricane season, so there's a lot to prepare for, and we've been doing that. The good news is, as chairman, I get to witness our community coming together with all our first responders and all the other agencies that work with us to get to work together and to prepare for this, and we're doing that, and we work real well with the city. The last several storms that we've had, we have been able to work hand in hand with the city to have a more positive message, to have a more positive response.
Yes. Like you said, it's not great news with the hurricanes, and here we are, another one supposed to be coming this weekend. But what a great feeling that you're working together and you're prepared, and everybody is on the front lines. So it takes a lot of planning and preparation during a storm. Do you have to go to the Emergency Operations Center yourself?
Oh yes, I am there. Sometimes it feels like we live out there, but we're working. Other commissioners come in from time to time, as well as the city leadership is out there. But there's so many more that are out there. Our public works departments out there, our police, city and county police, our fire, city and county fire departments, the sheriff's office is out there, the college is out there. Our school system is represented out there. Georgia Power, Okefenokee Rural Electric's there. The Department of Transportation has representatives there. The hospital, the Joint Water and Sewer Commission is out there. Coast Guard, the airports, the Port Authority down on the south end, DNR, FLETC, and many other agencies, and all the support people that it takes to manage a storm like this. They're all out there. It's something to see if you've never been in that EOC building out there, and the coordination that goes on to make sure that we're looking after the people of Glynn County.
Yes, that is very reassuring, and that is good news, right?
That is
together. Everybody is really on board now. So just to clarify for the community, even though we're not technically in the cone for this particular hurricane, you're still there. Y'all are still there. In case it shifts or change, you're still going to be on the front lines in the operations center.
We're on the front lines. Luckily, in this storm, it's a less dramatic effect to us, so we're able to do most of what we're doing right now at the Pate Building downtown. Okay. The EOC is when we get that many people in there, it gets crowded. We can run effectively here unless we get a major impact. So most of our operations this week have come from the Pate Building. We are standing up the EOC for early morning tomorrow morning when we expect the storm to get here. There'll be a crew on staff there as well. what we like to do is just talk about the good things and the positive measures that we've been able to take here in the county, and how we work together and build relationships with our partners within the community, but also our relationship with the city, and what we're working on to build a more solid future for Glynn County. We get the opportunity in building relationships because we are stronger when we work together, and it's always a great opportunity to build on these. And while we don't like dealing with storms, we do like dealing with our partners, and to build stronger relationships. Each one of these, as much as we prepare for this storm, it becomes a training exercise to make us even better for the next storm. And we know there'll be another. So we appreciate the fact that we can work so closely with our partners here, and to be able to see the response that this community has. And we're all here for one purpose, and that's to serve and protect the people of Glynn County.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is very good news. So thank you so much for saying all of that, and letting us know that even in we talk about Team Glynn. Well, Team Glynn really needs to pull together during an emergency or a storm situation. So we're really seeing that does happen. And Team Glynn, I think, doesn't just mean people who work in Glynn County. As you said, Team Glynn really includes your partners, the city, the school board, all of it, everybody coming together. So that is very good news, and so exciting.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see, and I am privileged to get to be a part of it, to serve the citizens of Glynn County. These storms are never any fun, but it is an absolute honor to be able to work and serve the people of Glynn County. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Well, good luck with the storm. I think we've hopefully bypassed this one. Do you know if there's another one on its way, or
there's several out in that are being watched, but I don't think we have another immediate threat. So we'll take them one at a time.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time today. As always, it's a pleasure, and we'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Avery.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Golden Isles TV. We are, this is Good News Glynn. This is the month of October. We're here with Chief Vincent DeCristofalo, otherwise known as Vinny, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And you pronounced that perfectly.
Oh, good, because that's a long name.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Well, we're so glad to have you. We're talking to Mr. Fallon, and he mentioned that you've been here 2 years. Here with the county, doing a great job. So let's jump into that. Tell me about yourself and why you became a firefighter.
Okay, well, as Mr. Fallon said, I was hired in July of 2022, so it's just over 2 years here, serving first as the assistant fire chief, and then shortly after as the fire chief. I've been in the fire service for 27 years. Before coming to Georgia, my career was down in Southwest Florida. The Fort Myers area, where I, came up through the ranks as a firefighter, a paramedic, a company officer, and then moved into admin, into training, and then retired as the deputy fire chief from the city of Fort Myers, and then started looking for what was next. And I was fortunate to find Glynn County Fire Rescue in Glynn County and the Brunswick area as next. So it's been a rewarding 2 years. So much good stuff has happened at the department, and so much good stuff is still on the horizon for the department. But the fire service, and why did I get into it? So after high school, I went in the Army, and I was a combat medical specialist. So that was basically moving me towards EMS in the civilian field. And when I got out of the Army, it was looking for that the structure that I kind of enjoyed in the Army, and I found that in the fire service. And so that drew me into it, and the fire side of what we do is the exciting part. It's the news part. But what a lot of people don't understand is the EMS side of what we do, especially here in Glynn County, is almost 80% of our call volume. And day in and day out, we save more lives with our EMS service than we ever do with our firefighting. And that's something that we talk about a lot, to keep the focus on what we're here doing and what our community calls for us to do the most. And that's our EMS ALS transport service here in Glynn County.
Wow, I was not aware of that. That's an interesting statistic, especially here. Do you think that's typical across all counties and states, or is that just Glynn County?
Well, it's a little higher for us, but nationwide EMS calls are approximately 60 to 70% of the call volume. And it's something that the fire service has taken on through its history, progressing from just fighting fire to hazmat and then into emergency medical services. Something that we learned since I got here, since I became employed here, was that Glynn County Fire Rescue, with our call volume, we're the 12th busiest fire department in the state of Georgia, which was really eye-opening to Mr. Fallon and the Board of Commissioners when we started getting this data and looking at it. And it shows that, we do a job at Glynn County Fire Rescue with, every day we have 34 people working, serving on the fire trucks and on the ambulances out there running this heavy call load. And it's been a area of focus, once presented the right way, that has them on board with improving what we do. And so that's one of our goals, and we'll talk about those later.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So yes, this is Fire Prevention Month, which I'm not sure everybody knew. That was news to me, but Fire Prevention Month. So do you have any tips for us during this month?
Absolutely. So actually October 6th to 12th is National Fire Prevention Week. But here at Glynn County Fire Rescue, we take advantage of the whole month of October. And this year's Fire Prevention Week is focused on smoke alarms, make them work for you. And the message always is, in your home and in your business, ensure that your smoke alarms work. And that's doing a monthly test of them. That's ensuring every 6 months. And the cue was always, when you change the clocks back or forward, go ahead and change your batteries. And so we still push that. But now with technology, there's now 10-year lithium ion battery smoke alarms, where you can purchase them anywhere, simply take down the 9-volt battery ones, put these up, and they're good for 10 years. But so that's a big thing, is making sure people have smoke alarms in the home and that they are working, because smoke alarms do save lives. Our focus this month, we started on last Friday with First Friday, and before that with a smoke alarm fire extinguisher giveaway that was hosted by Books A Million off the Spur. And we gave away well over 100 smoke alarms and well over 100 kitchen-sized fire extinguishers to the public. So that was a great event. And what we do is we take the people's names and we put them into a spreadsheet. And if we find out that, hey, there was a fire at that house and one of these extinguishers provided by Glynn County Fire Rescue was instrumental, that's a win for us. So we focus on that. But our entire Fire Prevention Month and the whole year, what our Fire Prevention Division is focused on is making the buildings that our community goes into safer for them. And we do that through, in the home, having a focus on the residents having a home safety inspection. So they're aware of, do I have too many outlets plugged, too many extension cords plugged into an outlet? Am I storing chemicals that shouldn't be in my garage, which become a hazard to the homeowner and to the firefighters when they respond there on a fire? We focus on the message of don't leave cooking unattended. Most residential fires are caused by unattended cooking. So if we can get that message out of don't ever turn your back to something cooking on your stovetop or in your oven, and just pay attention, be aware of it. We can lessen the amount of residential structure fires caused by cooking. And the other thing, and this one's a really big one with the kids when we're out in the schools, is we tell them, go talk to your parents about having a safety plan, a home exit plan, a meeting place that if something happens, we're going to meet at the neighbor's mailbox. So everyone can be accounted for. That's one of our biggest concerns when we arrive on scene, is everyone out of the house. If we can confirm everyone's out of the house, our job gets so much easier. Because now we're just focused on putting the fire out, not getting in and trying to put the fire out and find somebody or even their pet inside. So we focus on that in the schools. And this week, actually, our fire prevention division, along with Sparky the fire dog, are out in all the elementary schools doing this program with those children there. And they're our biggest bullhorns. They go home and they just talk to their parents about, this is what I learned today, and we have to have this, mom and dad. And I think it's a good experience. And we hear the stories back from the parents when we run into them of, you really excited my son and daughter with what you all talked about that day.
Well, yeah, not only the tips and talking about that and implementing this in the home, but also possible future firefighters, right?
Right. That's right. Always recruiting. We're always recruiting.
Yeah. Get them young.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, great tips. Yeah, and super helpful and wonderful that you're using Sparky for the education of the young children in the schools and everything. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is why we do the show. Good news. This is all good news. So let's talk about some initiatives that your department is working on.
So our initiatives that we work on, especially in the fire prevention area, is really that fire education in the school. Like we said, if we can teach the youngsters, the kindergarten, first, second, third graders, fire safety, it's there for their lifetime. They've learned it, they remember it, and they take it back home. And like I just said, they for lack of a better word, they pester the parents until they make a plan for them. They want to take part in this. On the fire prevention side, one of the other initiatives that we've been doing is a smoke alarm canvas after a fire in a neighborhood. So when we do have a structure fire within a residential neighborhood, we will go walk a couple of blocks around that house, knocking on doors, asking if they have smoke alarms. If they don't, we bring them with us and we will go and install them there for us. So that's a good initiative. And another one with our risk reduction is, and this is on what the crews in the field are doing, is just being prepared all the time. And that's from how we do our training to be prepared for the various call types that we respond to ensuring that our pre-plans are done out in the field and we're in these buildings, we're familiar with these buildings, and then touching all of our hydrants every single year. So we have over 4,000 hydrants within Glynn County that we're responsible to inspect. And by that, we make sure that they have water coming out of them, that they're operable, and that if not, we report it to joint water or the private owner to have it fixed. So in case we need to use that hydrant during a fire event, it's there for us and we know it works. Yeah,
that sounds great. I didn't realize that was y'all's responsibility. It makes sense.
We do it hand in hand with joint water.
With joint water, right? Okay, great. And recruiting. Talk to me about recruiting. We just talked about you start young. Maybe you're inspiring with all the school age educational programs that you're sort of recruiting that way. But tell us about your recruiting.
So our recruiting efforts are focused right now with job fairs, such as at the College of Coastal Georgia, which we're going to be at today. And then we do a lot with GICA with their workforce programs and them introducing a new firefighting program into their curriculum. So we go to their fairs and we try to recruit there at either the college kids or the high school kids. We've also been in the high schools going at lunchtime to talk to the students coming out that, hey, here's a career field that you may not have been aware of. It's very rewarding. Most importantly, what has happened recently, working with the Board of Commissioners, Mr. Fallon, and the Public Safety Director, was a public safety pay scale improvement, which made us more desirable to come work for. I try to sell Glynn County Fire Rescue as this, hey, we have good pay. Who wouldn't want to come and do this job on the southeast coast of Georgia? It's beautiful here. We're a busy department. We see all the call types that you could ever see in a big city. We get them here. And so we try to sell ourselves like that, with a positive culture, focus on training, focused on professional development, and getting people that have a good heart, that want to serve their community, and then train them to the level we need them to be at. So when we do recruiting, I can teach anyone how to be a firefighter. We can teach anyone how to be an EMT or a paramedic. It's just training and their commitment to it. But what we can't teach is their desire to serve, and then their desire to, or their heart, having a good heart, having good integrity, having an understanding of what professionalism means at Glynn County Fire Rescue, and then wanting to always improve throughout their career. So we look for that. We've been very successful lately with one large recruiting a testing process. So we have 10 new hires coming on. We are hiring civilians. So we're not hiring certified firefighters or licensed EMS providers. These are civilians ranging from age of 18 to 35 years old, and they've decided they want to do this. So they go through a hiring test process. They're selected by a interview panel, and we bring them on and get them through the training and get them on the road. They're serving out in our community.
I was so glad you're talking about this, because some people might think, oh, I have to be certified before I can apply, or I have to have been in some sort of service before. But it sounds like you trained them so they can just be civilians and be trained by your department.
Right. So, we're always looking for that certified firefighter, that licensed EMS provider. It's a much easier process to get them out into the field and really doing the job. But, we look for the right person, and, maybe they're a civilian, maybe they are already certified and ready to come. But it's really about bringing in the right talent into Glynn County and making our department improve through these individuals.
Right. Yeah. If the desire is there, you can train them. So,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's great to know. Okay. And next, we're going to talk about goals. I know you've probably touched on some of this, but what are your goals for the future of the department?
So we're always focused on recruiting and retention. That's one of our goals, to improve our ability to recruit and then retain. And as I mentioned, the public safety pay plan was very instrumental in that. And that will be looked at year over year to ensure that public safety within Glynn County is always being compensated at the appropriate level. So recruiting and retention, and then it's a master plan for the development going on and how do we grow to serve this growing community. If you drive around Glynn County, there's multiple apartment complexes going up, multiple commercial large facilities going up, such as Buc-ee's and growth along the 99 corridor. And then we have the entire western side of the county, where right now it's not as densely populated, but that growth is going to happen even out there. And Glynn County as a government, when it looks at the growth and how do we prepare for the infrastructure, we have to have a plan. So one of the things that we were successful with the current SPLOST is the new fire station, and working with FLETC and the federal government for getting that piece of property at Chapel Crossing in 17 for a new fire station. We utilized our data to show that we had a response gap over in that area, a growing area, and we were able to work through the SPLOST provided by the taxpayers, and then partnerships with FLETC to obtain a 4-acre piece of property right in a vital area for us to continue this growth. So we'll continue to plan on where the next stations are going, and with that comes the acquisition of new apparatus, new ambulances, and more personnel. So it all has to be planned out. So one of the goals is having this master plan in place. With our personnel, goal is always development and their training, making sure that they are prepared to respond to these calls, and then they're always developed to promote to that next level. So we have quality supervisors, but most importantly, we have leaders in these positions. That is our culture is based on the quality of our leadership, and as long as we can ensure the right people are being moved in these positions, our culture will always be positive. And then I talked about the stations a little bit, but on the equipment side, having an apparatus, fire apparatus and ambulance replacement schedule to ensure that as the call volume increases, we have these units that can respond out. I can be fully staffed, but if I don't have fire trucks and ambulances, we can't respond to the call. So we've been very successful working with Mr. Fallon, the Public Safety Director, Chief Ebner, and the Board of Commissioners to have a plan set up for the proper acquisition and the rotation of older units out of service.
Right. So yeah, I learned so much on these shows. I'm so privileged to be able to do this because I learn so much as everyone else does in the community. But so is it more important to have more apparatus, like you said, more vehicles, more trucks, etc., or is it more important to have more stations? Sounds like, or a combination of both.
They go hand in hand. If we build a station, we don't have a truck to put into it, it's just a building. Mm-hmm. If we don't have the people to put on the truck at the station, it's just an empty building. It's not helping the public. Right. So it has to all be planned out and budgeted correctly for the timing of the opening, that everything's there. And I think we've been very successful in the 2 years I've been here, 2 years plus, with Mr. Fallon's leadership and Mr. Ebner, Chief Ebner's leadership of having these plans in place for the improvement of all of public safety.
Right. Yes, that sounds great. A lot of planning, a lot of preparing for the future and the growth of the community. Would there be another station planned for the island anytime soon, or is it more Brunswick is the need right now?
It's more the mainland right now. What we've done out on St. Simons is we've improved the level of service, especially at the north end, by putting a higher level of EMS provider on the fire truck that responds out there. That Station 7 at the north end, they have the longest response time of the incoming ambulance. And so what we found was if we put an advanced EMT instead of just an EMT basic there, it's a higher level of skill, higher level of equipment, higher level of EMS protocols that can be implemented on someone that's sick while they're waiting for the ambulance to get there. So we looked at it like that. When we look at the master plan, a master plan, once it's developed for where the stations should be put, it may show that there's a space there on St. Simons. But as we know, St. Simons is built out. I haven't even looked at available properties on St. Simons proper of where a fire station should go at this point.
Right. Wow. Okay. Lot to think about, lots of plan, and but kind of one step at a time, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, we want to do it all at once, but it has to be planned out. Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I think we covered a lot, and I appreciate the time and taking part in this. I think it's a great opportunity and a great experience to get the message out of what's going on good in Glynn County. So
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, we just it's all good news. I mean, this information is just vital to our community, and we do it in kind of a fun way, or we try to. So
yes,
we're so glad to meet you, and good job with everything you're doing in your department. And we look forward to having you on the show again sometime.
Yes, ma'am. I look forward to it. And thank you for having me, Avery.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay. Well, thanks again for having us on this month. Hopefully you learned a lot from our fire chief, Chief Vinny, and then Chairman Neal, certainly. So been a busy fall so far with the storms, and we're hopeful that this is the last of the storms that we see here coming up with Milton. But we'll be prepared either way. And like I said, that partnership that we have with the city and all our partners, really, and all the agencies that are here, the combined effort for us to work through these storms is pretty incredible, in my opinion. And so that leads to success for us and for the entire community. So again, Avery, thanks for having us on, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you. Absolutely. See you next time. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Good News Glynn. Stay tuned for more Golden Isles TV.